guy's a great coach. I'm like, great coach? You know the guys on the aircraft carrier that go like this and do this? That's what Nick is. He's like an aircraft carrier, or he's like the cop in the middle of Broad going like this when the lights are out. That's what he is. So without further ado, oh, by the way, I did get Howard to tell us something here. I can't wait to get Angelo's take on it. The legendary, by the way, I checked out his blog, and I think I saw something where the dumbass Phillies, it was something like that. Oh, no, the ballless Phillies. It was Phillies have no balls. That's it right there, right? All right, without further ado, let's bring in my good friend, Angelo Cataldi.
Hey, Dan. How you doing?
Did you guys ever have a round table on WIP, you two guys? Did you guys ever do a round table?
I just did his podcast about a month or two ago.
I watched it.
Yeah, so we're in a good spot right now. I think we had tons of feuds over the years, but we are joined in our dislike of our ex-boss, the late Tom Bigby. If that helps you at all, anyone who worked for Tom, you're 100% right. When he's called somebody an a-hole, that's coming from a position of knowledge. He is the king of the a-holes in his day. And so believe me, we would disagree really strongly on Sirianni, but Sirianni's got a ring. So maybe Eskin wins that argument right now. I don't know. We got see the last couple of years, see what happens.
How about this, though, Angelo? I asked him about the salary, and I go, Angelo and I were like, well, it's comfortably above 10. And I go, so's 100 million. I said, tell me where we're going. He goes, he goes like this. It's 15. That doesn't make him top 5. It makes him, obviously they've doubled it and plus a little bit here. And so what do you make of that? I mean, they doubled the salary there, and supposedly it's 3 years. So 15 annually in 3 years, according to Howard.
That's not great for a guy who just won the Super Bowl, but they don't think he's great. Understand something. They know he's not great. They work with him every day. He is a traffic cop. The less authority he has had in running the Eagles, the more successful the team has been. Now, when he came in, he was the offensive coordinator, too. He was calling the plays. He was doing that. And within a few weeks, he realized, well, that's not going to work. I got guys here who are better at it than me. I'll hand that over. To his credit, I mean, he knows what he's not good at, which is basically anything other than the culture of the team. He's good at that. No one argues. These guys like playing for him. And there's a lot to be said for that in this day and age. But I'm an old school guy, and I think you also have to know how to coach. And I think that's where the X's and O's, I don't think, is his strength. And what they gave him, and they knew that if he went out and just, marketed his services to the other 31 teams, he would probably find out the same thing. Good, but not great. That's where they are with him now. Now, I think he's in trouble this year because when they lost, they had a great offensive coordinator last year, and they went, all right, now what are we going to do? Let's bring in his Bobo, Kevin Patullo. And that means that, again, Nick Sirianni will have a lot more say in the game plan. That's not good. That will not work to their advantage. That's the way I'm looking at it right now.
How about this, Angelo? Looks like to me that every time they've had success, they've gone outside the family, so to speak, to bring in somebody. And the guys that they have brought and had in the family, like the coordinator in 23, the coordinator they had to go out. And if you remember right, Shane Steichen, he was the only guy that had a year and a half with Jalen Hurts. And every other time they've gone from and elevated from within, whether it be defensively or offensively, it's not been successful. So again, I mean, should they have gone outside, so to speak, family to get themselves another coordinator to get a different perspective?
This is what so intrigues me, that they had a very similar situation with Doug Peterson. And Doug wanted one of his guys. He wanted, I'm trying to think of the guy's name now. He ended up going somewhere else. And
Press Taylor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And Doug said, no, I need my guy. I want a Super Bowl. And they went, you're not getting your guy. And then they parted ways after a bad season, but they parted ways. Sirianni gets in the same situation. And Sirianni said to them, I want my guy Patullo. And they say, yeah, which is surprising. I guess you got to fail with your guy before the Eagles hold you responsible. Now, he failed 2 years ago with Brian Johnson. That guy was not a good one. Got rid of him, brought in a guy from the outside, Kellen Moore, won a Super Bowl. Moore, of course, uses that to get a head job at New Orleans. Now you need another guy. I'm surprised they said yes to Patullo. I am surprised because of what you just said. Guys outside the organization seem to do better when Sirianni's the coach than guys that he brings there. We'll see. I have a feeling it's going to go badly. I have a feeling it's going to frustrate Hurts. I have a feeling Nick's going to get more involved in the play calling, which would be a disaster. I have a feeling they're going to pay the price for that.
How about this, Angelo? Do you think the owner, and as you've told me before, you believe that the owner loves to acknowledge him being right in a lot of things, picking this guy, hiring this guy. Do you think it's more about how they paid him and extended him? That, to me, you got to pay that because it's kind of an indictment of what I've done by replacing Doug. See, I was right. Now we've made him one of the top paid guys, even though, like you and I say, I'm with you, man. I think he's a traffic cop. I don't see anything special with that because here's why I said it, and I get criticized for this, and I know you do too. It's that you're beholden to your assistant coaches every year. If your assistant coach sucks, you're going down with the ship. If your assistant coach gets a job in the NFL, you're going to get kudos for that, and people are going to assume that you had more control of that, when in actuality, in the last 4 years, do you think this is a normal number? How many coordinators have you changed on both sides of the ball since they've been there? 8. I mean, wow. How is that? I mean, defensively and offensively, you've changed 8 coordinators. I don't know about you. I mean, I know they're winning, which kind of clouds it all up and goes, hey, it's a formula that they're winning, but you're beholden to the assistant coaches that they bring into the building, not your own abilities. I mean, I've never seen a more contradicting conversation in my life than this guy, because I don't really think he's great.
Here's another contradiction for you. When the Eagles went out and they convinced Chip Kelly to come here, initially just as a coach, but eventually he used the power play to get control of the personnel as well. But when he came here, they were paying top dollar. They were going to blow anybody else's doors away. They thought this guy had invented the game of offensive football. They were convinced he was going to be the guy, and they paid top dollar, and they handed him a lot of control. And what they found was there was good elements of that and bad. You know, he started great, and then things went haywire. He got power crazy, and he stripped away Howie Roseman's power as GM, et cetera, et cetera. They have never, since then, shown any of the guys they brought in as coach the same level of respect, either by the financial deal they made with them, the length of the deal that they made with them. They've never got anybody to that level again. Maybe they said, well, we learned our lesson. We give the guy all the money, we give him all the power, and then we end up being left out in the cold. That may be part of it. But there's no way right now they feel the same commitment to Sirianni that they did when they brought in Chip Kelly a decade ago. It's different, whole different. And the thing is, Kelly was a very hot commodity then. You know, Oregon was a powerhouse, and they thought he was a brilliant offensive mind. They've never gotten back to that place, either with Peterson or with Sirianni, that they got with Kelly. And they ended up winning 2 Super Bowls after Kelly. It's not bad. They went to 3. You know, so maybe this is a better formula for them. It must be working. All I can tell you is last year they had a great setup. Really excellent offensive coordinator, fantastic defensive coordinator, and the traffic cop in the middle staying out of it, just letting them do their thing. And they won a Super Bowl with it. It's not going to be that way this year with a much tougher schedule. Much tougher schedule.
And a completely different looking defense. I'll ask you this. Why is this by design? The organization, it seems, since Jeffrey Lurie has owned the team, he doesn't hire experienced head coaches.
Yeah.
There's never been an experienced head coach. It's always been somebody like a Reed. Reed wasn't even a coordinator in Green Bay. He was a quarterback coach, actually, because Holmgren called the plays. Is that by design, in your opinion, that the owner wants to feel entitled that he's finding these guys?
100%. This I know. Some things I kind of guessed at a little bit, like my prediction of wins last year. But some things I know. All right. And here's the thing. All right. Eagles, they kind of initiated this dog and pony show interview process. Every guy they would bring in, they would hold a news conference after. Oh, we had a 12-hour interview. Which frankly, I guess they're going to see if any of these candidates want to kill themselves, listen to Lurie for 12 hours. All right. But whatever it is, I guarantee you, they never end up with the guy who's got a track record in the NFL as a head coach. They never end up with that guy. Here's why. That guy is going to tell them what he's going to do. The other guys are going to listen to what Lurie and Roseman say, and at the very least, incorporate into what they're going to do. They don't want to bring in all this stuff about Belichick last year. Oh, maybe Eagles are bringing in Belichick. There was less chance of that happening than me becoming a Chippendale dancer. All right? That was not going to happen. They will never bring the strong head coach because in the end, he'll tell them what he's doing instead of them telling him. And in the Sirianni, they've got a world-class ass kisser. They've got a guy.
I said that the other day.
World-class. You know what he's better at than anything? Kissing the ass and saying yes. So I'm telling you right now, in Sirianni, they have found the mother lode of yes man. He is the guy. All right. They've been looking for this guy forever. Who he goes into those meetings. I don't have to be in there to know that Sirianni is telling Lurie and Roseman that both of them are just brilliant originators and incredible owners, incredible gentlemen. And hey, to a degree, it's true. I mean, Roseman is one of the best GMs in sports, and Lurie is annoying as hell, but he's winning now, so you can't kill the owner. But the truth is, that guy has mastered the art of getting on his knees and kissing both cheeks of his two bosses. I guarantee, Dan, there's nothing I'm more sure of than that. He is a world-class ass kisser.
All I know is this, man. That guy, if he's looking for a sponsor, it's Carmex. The stuff that you put on your lips. That to me, I'm with you on that. Couple last ones here for you, Angelo. 2,127. That's the amount of carries since he was in college Saquon Barkley has had. In your opinion, do they have to go down the same formula again for them to be able to repeat if they are going to? Because do they put the ball in Hurts's hands more, or do they stay with the formula?
That's the great blessing of last season was that Barkley, who usually gets hurt, he did in almost every year he was with the Giants. It's one of the biggest reasons the Giants didn't match the offer. He would have stayed. They wouldn't match the offer.
He had a hit.
They were convinced that he got hurt every year. You lean on him the way they did. Last year, didn't. He got through the whole year, was brilliant, was phenomenal. This is as good as any running back has ever had a season for the Eagles. It was phenomenal. It was historic. Can it happen again? I hope so. I really hope so. Because there's one thing I learned. I really like him. I don't just like him as a player. He's got a great demeanor. He's got a great air about him. He's a real class act. And I hope he stays healthy. But if I were laying odds on it, I wouldn't give it better than 50-50 based on what's happened in many of his seasons prior to last year. And if he does go, and again, I'm not advocating to cut back on the times he touches the ball. No, I'm not. He got to play the way he played last year, and you hope for the best with it. But you know, if he stays healthy, there's always a good chance he'll do some magical things that will win them big games because he's that good, and he's got a great line in front of him. Even without Becton, I wish they had kept Becton, but without Becton, they still be fine in the front line. And that's the biggest, you know, if you're going in the whole year, Dan, that's the biggest question. Is he going to stay healthy the whole year? If he does, the Eagles are definitely going to the playoffs, and they're definitely as good a team as Eddie to win it all again. But without him, no, not nearly as good.
No. If they lose Barkley for any extended period of time, their season's in trouble here. I have to ask you, Angelo. I went over to your blog. Now, before I ask you about what you wrote, I'm going to ask you about Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper to Angelo Cataldi has been what in Philly?
What's that? You put Bryce Harper in the same sentence as me?
No, well, no. What has he been to you? What has he been to you?
He's a great baseball player. He's a fantastic leader. He's got all of it. He's got all the ingredients that it takes to be a champion in Philadelphia, except for a manager. The manager keeps blowing his opportunities to win. And here we sit right now. Phillies lose 9 out of 10. I keep looking around. Remember, I came here in 1983. The day I got here, the Phillies fired Pat Morales as their manager. They were in first place. I looked around and went, oh, my God, this is my city. They fire managers in first place. How great is this place? No one has even whispered the hint that Topper, they like to call him Topper, Rob Thompson, Topper, might be in trouble since they're spending all this money. They got all the odds, admittedly, not with Harper at the moment, but Harper was there for part of this 9 out of 10 losing thing they're on. And no one in this media, they all love him. They get her. Yesterday, he's doing a news conference. I'm watching it. What am I doing I got my choice. That or watch the PGA. So I'm juggling back and forth. And I'm watching it, and they go, one of them goes, very timidly, one of the media guys go, Rob, you think maybe you might shake up the lineup since you basically score 1 run every game now? And Rob looks pensively, and he goes, I'm thinking about that.
I'm thinking about that.
He's thinking about it. After they lost 9 out of 10, they got swept by the putrid Pirates. And now he's thinking about it. How many more games does he need Bryson start to not get on base in the leadoff spot before it gets him the hell out of there? How many? But he's thinking about it now. And they're all going, right now. He's Topper Malls changes in lineup. Oh, exciting. The guy stinks. He stinks. He blew the last year's players because he took out Wheeler at 100 pitches. Oh, my God. What a jackass. No one will hold him accountable. No one in the city. And it's a shame. It's a disgrace. If I were in the active media, if I were working at news, my column today would have been, is it time to get rid of Topper? Bring in somebody who may actually know how to manage?
Would you want to fire also? Would you want to clean house?
Look, Kevin Long, it's often happened with Kevin Long. He's good the first year or two, that it kind of, all right, if you're the hitting coach right now, and that team is doing that, you should not be buying green bananas. You know what I'm saying? You may be, but I don't know. It's a different world now, Dan. The world I lived in, the media world I was in 50 years, if you were not succeeding, you were in danger. I don't know that that's true anymore.
It's not.
It seems like they've got all these they got like this little room where they put all these nerds in there with computers and analytics types. And I guess they wait for those guys to tell you when the manager's screwing up. And as long as the manager's following the friggin' numbers, which Thompson does religiously, they leave him alone. Not my world. My world is when you are a contender and lose 9 out of 10, when you're 4.5 games behind the Mets now, I'm looking at you and I'm trying to figure out whether or not you're going to be the answer to my problem or the cause of my problem. That's why I would look at it.
I always thought, Angelo, in your city, the more successful the team, the more heat you were under. I never thought it was the other way. I never thought it was the other. Hey, crappy teams, you and I know they got a tough build. They got to dig out of that. To me, like when you're the Yankee manager, okay, and if Boone is 21-22 in his postseason since he's been the manager, that's a problem. That's a problem. You can't be that way. For me, when I see a guy in a team like you spending over $200 million on a payroll and you're getting bounced, dog, you're under the gun here, man. You're not supposed to be pacified going, hey, man, guess what? You know, do you think maybe you want to shake up the lineup? I mean, Joe Madden used to shake up the lineup to the tune of 138 times a year because he wanted to get it right. I don't know, man. I mean, this guy, for some reason, they adore him. I guess it's because of the accessibility.
Because he's another ass kisser. Do you understand? Hey, Todd, how you doing today, Todd? How's the family? Oh, how's it going? Oh, we're friends with the manager. A lot of good that's going to do you. See if I invite you over for Sunday dinner. Nah, it's all bull. You understand? It's all garbage. So why they're all a bunch of pussies. Can I say it any clear?
Yes,
they're a bunch of pussies.
Yes, you can. Why did you say the Phillies have no balls?
Because I kind of think that was last week. I just did one today on Carson Wentz. It hasn't come out yet. Carson Wentz, the fact the argument's over now. They would have won nothing if they kept that loser. The fact, this would have been the final year of his 6-year extension with the Eagles.
No way.
They'd still have him here, and he'd still be choking in every big spot, right? But the Phillies, I was right.
This would have finished the contract this year.
This was it. This was his final year, $154 million. I just wrote it today. It isn't out yet. My wife's been busy. She's my manager, so I got to wait for her to post.
Got it.
But the Phillies, that was last week's one. They had no balls. I'm trying to think now. It could be 1,000 things. I can't even remember. This is why I'm not on the air anymore. I don't remember what I wrote a week ago. I'd have to go look it up.
Hey, I just say this.
But I know it's true.
Angelo, it is always great to check in with you, my friend. Thank you so much. Hey, by the way, you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow's content day. Nick's speaking. So tomorrow's content
speaking.
Day. Yeah, it's final mini camp. So yes, it'll be content day tomorrow.
Oh, great. I'm going to go out now and get those big hip boots that you fish in and you clam in. And that way, when he's piling up the manure, it still won't get above my boots.
Angelo, you bet. Thank you, Angelo. You bet. The great Angelo Cataldi. Absolutely. Let me do a little. Yeah. It's great. Sorry about the lagging for him, but I'm not stopping anything once that guy gets going. How he sees your coach. Great minds think alike. Oh my God. That guy thinks exactly like Big Sills. Mm. Yes, sir. The ultimate. By the way, who said that in here? The ultimate ass kisser. Yes. CarMax is the new sponsor. Yes, he did pick 5 wins. Yes, he did. He owned up to it. Okay. Yes, he did. Let's see here. Speaking of dreams, hey. Hey, we're repeating. You're repeating with Keely Ringo. Keely Ringo. Oh, it is always great to hear Angelo Cataldi having the same takes as Big Sills. I wonder how that is. Oh, yeah. Me and him hated that Tom Bigby guy. He ran WIP. Guy was a complete asshole. Ronald says he found his home with you guys. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Did he who? Does Big Sills look like he's ever been to a Diddy party or anything remotely close to shit like that? Dog, that's not my deal. I go to strip clubs. I don't. No, it's not. I know. Maybe years ago I did. Yeah. Oh, Sue, really? Sills, how strong is the Ravens linebacking core this year, other than Rokan? I think that defensive football team looks pretty good. Okay, I do. Ringo's a star. He couldn't play. No, Ringo star, baby. No, not Ringo Starr. Rokan. I think that defense is going to be great. Seals, who do you want at starting corner? Cooper DeJean. You don't have him. The only person on that roster you have right now that could start that I feel comfortable would be Cooper. Cataldi's book sells on Timo for $2.99. Thank you, Twiz. Happy Pride to you and Angelo. Never seen two plush like that. I love Angelo. Sills at a Diddy party. Yeah, bend over. Great name. But the offense sucks. No, the offense doesn't suck. It doesn't play up to its abilities. No, doesn't. Hey, I'm going to hit on something right now. And if you've been if you've been watching social media, you saw the greatest takedown in the history of takedowns with Simone Biles over the weekend because she's not supporting women's sports. She's saying that dudes should be in women's sports. And here's a point to her. If guys were in her sports in the Olympics, she wouldn't own one medal. And for her to turn her back on women's sports, from now on, I will call her the disgraced Olympic champion. That's my definition of her. Not supporting women and having fair competition. I do not support that, nor her and her position. So people are going after Riley Gaines's resume.